Social media gave the world the illusion of control. It feels like if you choose the topic, the tone, and the camera angle, then you own the narrative. But there are places where likes and followers don't protect you, where having your name whispered in the wrong circles can become a death sentence. Mexico is one of those places. Here, publicity is not just a stage, it's also a target. In a country where drug cartels have fought bloody wars for decades, the word blogger no longer means just easy fame. Influencers, from beauty creators to street chroniclers, inevitably become witnesses, commentators, or even unwilling participants in the parallel world of crime. Content about fashion, music, or luxury lifestyles in Mexico often brushes up against the aesthetics of the narco world. Big pickup trucks, jewelry, nightclubs, armed escorts, regional music. For audiences, it looks glamorous. For the cartels, it's a language of loyalty and territory, and within this grammar, there's a terrifying punctuation mark. The narcomanta, public banners, or flyers cartels use to send warnings. Sometimes they're hung from bridges, sometimes dropped from airplanes. And when your name appears on one, it means you've already been marked. Today we'll tell 5 stories of people whose online fame collided with cartel violence. Some played with the fire of narco aesthetics. Some were dragged in by their personal ties. Some tried to do the work of journalists. None escaped the brutal logic of the cartels. These are not just tragedies. They're warnings. Camilo Ochoa didn't pretend to be a good guy. His entire online career was built from the kind of material that makes legends in Mexico: surviving torture, prison, and the constant presence of violence. His nickname, El Alucin, the dreamer, the hallucination, fit perfectly. He grew up poor in the state of Morelos. Like many young men, he quickly found himself on the edge of crime. By his own account, he was kidnapped by Los Zetas, tortured, and later imprisoned. He knew the inside of cells before he ever held a camera. After release, he started small on social media. Short clips, casual live streams, then long monologues about how things really are. People listened because he wasn't a journalist. He was someone who had lived it. His tattoos, his blunt language, his confidence made him compelling. By 2023, his channel had over 350,000 subscribers. But with each story he told, with every hint of cartel names, the line between entertainer and participant blurred. Then came the narcomantas. In March 2025, airplanes dropped leaflets over Sinaloa. His name was on them. He was accused of ties to Los Chapitos, the sons of El Chapo Guzman, who were locked in a brutal civil war with the faction loyal to Ismael El Mayo Zambada. For the cartels, being named in a narcomanta is not gossip. It's a death sentence. Camilo, however, kept streaming. "I'm not afraid," he said. He showed off trucks, jewelry, expensive clothes. For fans, it was entertainment. For rivals, it was provocation. On August 16th, 2025, men stormed his home in Mexico. He was gunned down inside. The news spread instantly. Some mourned, others said he had played with fire. But his story became a warning. In Mexico, flaunting narco aesthetics and speaking cartel names out loud does not just attract followers, it attracts bullets. If Ochoa's story was about playing with fire, Valeria Marquez's was about the fire coming for someone who just wanted to shine. Valeria was a young beauty influencer from Jalisco. She loved fashion, makeup, and casual streams. She wasn't making narco content. She wasn't throwing names around. But in Mexico, lifestyle itself can be dangerous if it looks too close to cartel luxury. She lived in Zapopan, a suburb of Guadalajara, heartland of the CJNG cartel, led by Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho. On May 13, 2025, Valeria went live from her beauty salon. The ring light glowed, TikTok comments scrolled, she smiled and laughed. Then a man entered. She recognized him. Her smile vanished. A flash of fear crossed her face. Seconds later, gunshots. 2 bullets. One to the chest, one to the head. The phone fell. The live stream ended. Her death shocked the world. Headlines read, "TikTok star murdered on live stream." Investigators said it looked like a professional hit. Soon the U.S. Treasury mentioned her case when sanctioning CJNG leaders, naming Commander Ricardo El Doble R. Ruiz Velasco as allegedly responsible. But the Jalisco prosecutor's office pushed back. "We have no evidence tying him to the crime." And so her story remains unresolved. But the message was clear. In a land ruled by cartels, even smiling in front of a ring light can be read as a threat. For influencers in Mexico, her death was chilling. Many deleted accounts, turned off geotags, or stopped streaming. Valeria's tragedy became a symbol of vulnerability, proof that the line between harmless content and mortal danger had disappeared. Some surnames turn into brands. For the Castro family, known online as Los Toys, fame came as a family affair. YouTube channels, regional music, collabs. They weren't crime reporters. They were entertainers. But in Mexico, names don't just belong to people, they belong to wars. By early 2025, Narco mantas began appearing in Ensenada, threatening the Toys family. Accused of laundering money for Los Chapitos, their name was suddenly on the wrong side of the Sinaloa cartel's civil war. Their parents' home was shot at, flyers with threats littered the streets. On March 28, 2025, Gail Castro, 32, left the restaurant, Villa Marina. A car pulled up. Gunfire. Chaos. He died instantly. The message was brutal. Even an influencer who never carried a gun could be treated as a cartel pawn, simply because of family ties and public visibility. The tragedy reminded Mexicans that cartels don't just fight over drugs and money, they fight over image. And influencers, musicians, even families can become collateral in the war for symbolic power. Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales, El Pirata de Culiacán, was the embodiment of viral internet culture. Just 17 years old, he built millions of views by being reckless, drinking, shouting, living the YOLO lifestyle. But one night, he crossed a line no one in Mexico dares cross. In a drunken livestream, he mocked El Mencho, leader of CJNG. In Mexico, there's an unspoken rule. You don't joke about El Mencho. His name is power. His name is fear. Days later, El Pirata was sitting in a bar near Guadalajara. Armed men stormed in. They shot him more than a dozen times. He died instantly. The official investigation never named a mastermind, but for everyone, the message was obvious. Ridicule of the cartel boss will be answered with death, no matter who you are, even a teenager. His story became legend, but not the kind he wanted. It was proof that in cartel-ruled territory, even a joke can kill. 2001, Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas. At the height of Los Zetas' reign of terror, one woman tried to help her community. Marisol Macias Castañeda was an editor at a local paper and an active user of Nuevo Laredo en Vivo, an online forum where residents warned each other about shootouts, blockades, and cartel movements. She wasn't a celebrity. She wasn't flaunting wealth. She was simply trying to keep her neighbors safe. But Los Zetas saw her posts as a threat. They had already promised to punish vloggers, and they did. Her body was found decapitated by the roadside. A note left beside her read, "This is for what you post online." Her murder shocked the world. It was one of the first documented cases of someone being killed, specifically for their online activity. International watchdogs called it a symbol of the deadly risks of digital speech in cartel-dominated territories. Marisol's story is different from the others. She wasn't chasing fame. She was offering a service. But in cartel logic, even truth-tellers become enemies. 5 stories, 5 warnings. Camilo Ochoa turned his past into content and paid with his life. Valeria Marquez streamed beauty tips and was executed live. Gail Castro was part of a family brand and became a casualty of a war. El Pirata de Culiacan made a joke and was silenced forever. Marisol Macias told the truth and was killed for her words. In cartel territory, publicity is not protection. Fame is not a shield. The internet does not make you untouchable. On the contrary, the more visible you are, the more dangerous it becomes. Their stories are not just tragedies. They are reminders. In places where crime holds the power of a state, even a live stream, a family name, or a single joke can turn fatal. And if these stories stop even one person from romanticizing cartel glamour, then perhaps their deaths were not entirely in vain.